and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. Got a great show coming up for you tonight, but before we start, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Balance of Nature. If you know anything about me, you know how seriously I take my health. In fact, with each year that passes, the goal of staying in my healthiest and best shape takes on more and more importance in my life. Feeling good is something I don't take for granted, and it has become an essential goal for me every single day. That's why I always remember to take my Balance of Nature supplements. Balance of Nature receives over 1,000 success stories every single month. They have hundreds of thousands of customers who have purchased billions of capsules of their fruit and veggies over the past 20 years. Their products are gluten-free and non-GMO, and they contain no added sugars or synthetics. I think if you're looking for something to make you feel better naturally, you should definitely give Balance of Nature a try. In fact, you can order it today. Check out all of their products on their website. Whether you order them online or call in direct, you can use promo code Lara to get a special offer of 35% off. You can call them at 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code Lara, or order online at balanceofnature.com. And remember to use discount code Lara, Lara, to get 35% off. If getting more serious about your health is something you've been wanting to commit to, I highly recommend you check out Balance of Nature. Tonight, we are joined by co-founder and drummer of the metal band Carnifex, Shawn Cameron. Shawn, welcome to the show. You said that we found you. We found you. We pulled you in the show. We got you here.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I want to ask you, because it's funny. We've had musicians join us in the past. But outside of the country artists, it seems like the musical artists that are always kind of down to talk to us, want to come on the show, are drummers. Is there something we don't know about drummers? Are you guys just like, throw caution to the wind, we'll go on with Lara Trump, who knows what's going to happen? What do you think's going on with all the drummers out there? I got to ask you.
Well, I mean, we're a pretty easygoing bunch. Most of the drummers I know have been in about 1,000 different bands, and
Oh,
most of them all at the same time. So, it's a lot of different music, a lot of different cultures. So I think that we're just down to jam with anybody. So
I love that. I think it's
you know,
fantastic. I had my first, by the way, just a quick aside. I fancy myself now. I don't know if you even call me a musician. I play the piano. Somebody allowed me to record a cover song of Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down, and I got to release it. It's wild. And then I was at an event recently, and their performer canceled, and they were like, would you go on stage?
oh
Would
my
you
God.
sing? Yeah. Shawn, let me tell you something. Don't give a Trump a mic. Don't tell us that we get to do these things, because we'll do them. And I
That's
did it.
funny.
And I got to tell you something. Nothing was cooler than standing on stage with like the full band behind me. And like I
Mhm.
had backup singers, the whole thing. I was like, this is amazing. So it's a good time. I
That's
know
crazy.
what
Yeah.
that's about. And yeah, I'm ready to jam with anybody too. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if
Oh
you're
yeah.
looking for singers these days, Shawn, but let me know. I'm available. You
Yeah.
started
Hey,
your band.
we might throw in some operatic parts.
Oh, okay. Well, I've had a problem.
And
My voice has been bad. I don't know what China sent over here this time, but I literally had lost my voice for like 4 weeks almost. And
oh man.
anyone who sings or just uses their voice as, on TV or whatever, it's a problem when
Yeah.
you lose your voice. But I did my best. I had a great time with it. I want to ask you about your band, because you started your band in 2005.
Mhm.
Back then, social media was like not even really a thing, just kind of getting going. How did you go about finding people to form a band? Because, I guess I'm in the market soon. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, back before social media, it was more, you basically just asked around. Like, you'd go to Guitar Center, you'd make your own flyer with the little phone numbers that
Yeah.
you can pull off. I'd put my influences, drummer looking for a band, and then, you'd go to as many places as you could, like Guitar Center, you go to venues, you go to shows. It was a lot of legwork. It was
Yeah.
much more than just, making a post on social media.
It feels
and
like it was
and forgetting about
more
it.
authentic, Sean.
Oh, it absolutely was.
Right?
It's funny. It almost seems like it was easier because you were actually involved, like doing the legwork to try and find something, and so were other people. Other people were actively looking, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, and it's different having an actual conversation with somebody in person and then jamming the music rather
Right.
than, hey, here's a message, read it how you want.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's kind of like the world we live in now, though, right? Because you do really, whenever you're face to face with somebody, and I mean, I literally say this as you and I are on opposite ends of the country
Yeah.
talking right now. Well, that's the beauty of it, right? We can really stay connected, but you do lose something when you're not face to face with people, and when you can't, sometimes you just like vibe with people, and you're like, this is what's happening in my mind. Like when you're forming a band. I
Hmm.
watched the Motley Crue documentary, or it was like a movie version of whatever happened with Motley Crue. And in my
Yeah, yeah.
mind, they're just like bringing people in and they're like, this guy doesn't work. This guy works. Do you just feel it like whenever you have like the right crew with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's funny, like when you're jamming with somebody, you can kind of tell by how they play, you can feel them out, but also their entire vibe. It's like
Yeah.
being on tour for so long, I've realized that it's really not about how talented of a musician somebody is, because as long as they can get through whatever they're supposed to be playing, it's fine. It's, can I be around this person for a whole month,
Right.
24/7? Are they, can we function together? Can we have conversations? Like, that's actually the more important thing other than the
Yeah.
music. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that also translate into playing on stage. If you're not
Right.
vibing with somebody off stage, then on stage is not going to feel
Can't fake it sometimes. I mean,
good.
people pick up on that. I mean, that's why, quite frankly, most people don't like, like a fake politician or something, just throwing it out as an example, because people can feel like phoniness and nobody likes that. People want authenticity. They want the real thing. They want exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think people want it now more than ever because it is so hard to find things that feel authentic these days. It's like everything is
Well,
AI
yeah.
generated, or how is that in the music industry, by the way? Because I just started kind of dabbling, like I said, into it, potentially like looking at writing some music. I don't want anybody to freak out there, but it could happen. How is
Hmm.
it with AI these days with all of it? I look at a band like yours and you guys are playing the instruments. We've had so much in
Hmm.
our music in recent times that is, like electronic and those sort of things. But do you worry about like the future of like, I don't know, rock and all of it? Are we going to lose it one day, do you think?
I think that, well, I mean, speaking of AI, they have started using AI to write music,
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy to me because that just is, it's not authentic.
I hate
It's
it.
it's
I hate
like a
it. They
lie.
do this with like an essay. You got to write an essay for school. Excuse me. I had to go to the library and use the Dewey Decimal System, Sean, and look
Yeah.
up my stuff and make notations and write the paper. These days these kids are just going on Chat GPT and they're like, write me a paper about whatever. But you're right, they're
Yeah.
doing it with music too. You can just kind of like go in and be like, write me a song about whatever, and like where's the authenticity? Where's the heart in that? I hate all of it. I think it's just really
Yeah.
like dumbing down our society, and just God, it just sucks. It's
Well,
terrible.
it is when you don't have to actually think or do the legwork
Right.
to accomplish something yourself, then it is the dumbing down of society, because there's so many reels that come up of, people asking just basic history, geography, math
Oh,
questions to these kids on the street, and they have no
yeah.
idea. No idea. I'm just like, this is stuff you learned in sixth grade,
Well,
and they just can't.
they were supposed to learn, but for
Yeah.
some reason they're not being taught, and we know that that's the truth. So we
Yeah.
had John Dolmayan from System of a Down on, And
Okay.
he told us kind of from the jump, he was like, listen, I have no problem talking about politics. You said you were cool to talk about politics too. Do you
I
have
did.
no fear, Shawn, of upsetting your fans? Like I said at the beginning, getting canceled, anything like that?
Well, I mean, there's always a fear of being rejected,
Yeah.
or somebody not liking something. But I mean, I don't have any views that anybody should be angry at me about.
One
I,
would
I
think.
want I want freedom. I want everybody to be able to live in peace. I just if you know what, the people who are going to get mad or offended are the ones who are going to be mad that I'm on your show. So I mean,
Oh,
it doesn't
yeah.
even.
They're already done with you just for
Yeah,
coming on
yeah,
here, probably.
exactly. They'll see that and be like, out.
Well, it's
But
hard for me. It's hard for me to imagine, and maybe I'm just like stereotyping people. But when I think of people listening to like heavy metal type stuff, in my mind, these aren't some kind of like pushovers who think that they're going to need a safe space and like a puppy type of thing. But I don't know. I could be totally wrong on that. I think it's great though that you're doing it. That you're going to say like,
mhm,
listen, yeah, I want this country to be free. I want everybody to pay less money for stuff. You want people back to work. But you probably want a secure southern border. We don't want any wars breaking out around the world that America's going
yeah,
to have to involve ourselves in. These are
hmm
basic things, and you're right. It shouldn't be so like over the top that you have an idea like that and that your views lean that way.
yeah,
But it's funny that we have gotten to this place where you talk about politics and it's the wrong side of politics according to the powers that be. And man, they really blow you up and they make a big deal out of it. It's really kind of
yeah,
sad, I think, that we're at a place like that.
yeah. I mean, anybody who's willing to have a rational conversation about this stuff, like there shouldn't be this huge disconnect. You know, it's all we're all supposed to want the best for this country, and that's
Yeah.
how it used to be. But now there is this super polarized left side that is trying to destroy this country. You know,
Yeah.
destroy all they've come in and said that everything that this country was founded on is racist and bad, and that's just not the case. If
Yep.
if it weren't if it weren't for this country, then there would probably still be slavery. Like
I think you're probably right.
this is the only country that has freedom of speech enshrined in its constitution. You know, it's the only place that you're actually supposed to be able to say anything you want. You
Amen to
know,
that. And that's what we're trying to preserve.
yeah.
I got a big question for you, Shawn, but I want everybody to hold on. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. All right, I hate to interrupt the show, but our country is facing so many problems these days under Joe Biden. The last thing any of us needs is more to worry about. Unfortunately, we now have to fear losing our freedom and privacy with the Democrats' new push for a digital dollar that could allow the government to tell us what we can and cannot buy with our hard-earned money. That's why I'm encouraging every one of you tuning into the show right now to get The Secret War on Cash, an insightful report created by my friends at Swiss America. With this report, you're going to learn how to protect yourself from the threats facing our freedom and your hard-earned money. The report is available right now to my listeners free of charge. Just call 800-289-2646 or visit www.swissamerica.com/Trump for your free report. All right, Mike Lindell and My Pillow employees want to say thank you to my listeners for all of your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TRUMP and you get free shipping on your entire order. Take advantage of this sale and get 50% off the My Pillow 2.0 or the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. You can also get 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. Take advantage of the free shipping on larger items like mattresses and mattress toppers. All of this 100% made in the USA and on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com and use promo code Trump or call 800-624-3945 and get free shipping on your entire order while supplies last. All right, so I should assume, and maybe again, I shouldn't assume anything. Does Donald Trump have your vote in 2024?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, see, we love this. This is why we
Absolutely.
knew. We love having you on. Well, but you know,
Yeah.
it's like, it's kind of sad too that I have to even like ask it that way. Here's what I found interesting, and maybe you can speak to this. You live in Southern California, you just told
Yeah.
me. You obviously have been in the music industry for a long time. I have noticed that I've showed up at a couple of different recording studios in the past month or so, and you know, I don't know what I'm going to get. I show up places and I'm just like, I'm going to be nice to everybody. I'm going to be cool with
Yeah.
everybody. I really don't care. You know what? If you voted for Joe Biden and you're part of the reason this country is crumbling, that was your choice. And that
Mhm.
was your right as an American citizen to do it. And I'm, you know, take a look around and see if you think you made the right decision, but I'm not going to give you a hard time for it. I know what my last name is. You have that right. So I show up at these places, Shawn. It's kind of amazing because I have been received so positively. And I'm telling you, everybody in there is basically like voting for Trump. I don't know if they're talking about it or if there's some shift that's happened, but it's very interesting to me because the rest of you know, the media would have you believe that if you are in Hollywood, the music industry, the film industry, like whatever it is, television, everybody is a liberal and everybody hates Donald Trump. And I actually don't think that that's the case, or maybe something has changed right now and people are starting to get it.
Well, I can tell you this: being in the music industry, there are a lot of awful opinions about life
Yeah.
and everything. But I think something has changed. I think that the left has shifted so far left that there are a lot of people who were, you know, in the center, left of center, who now find themselves from what the left is a little bit right of center.
Yeah.
So like that's how far the shift has gone, and it's crazy. Like you can't you can't be a normal person and think that, you know, the stuff the left is talking about is going to be good.
I
You
mean,
know?
cutting off body parts of children and allowing kids who can't even
Yeah.
buy cigarettes or fight for this country, they have the
Yeah.
ability to go literally mutilate themselves. It's crazy stuff like that we see
Yeah.
happening out there. You know, we're talking about
It is.
these kids who don't even know basic history, like you're saying. Yeah, they are doing such a disservice to our kids. We got to get things reined in. Do you have kids, by the way, Shawn?
I don't have kids.
Yeah. Well, see, and this is why I think it's even greater. Because those
Yeah.
of us with kids, it's almost like, obviously, I got to keep this country
Yeah.
together for these kids.
Well, yeah,
But
I mean, I don't have kids, but I grew up in a family of 8, you know.
oh wow,
I know what it's like to be a kid. And
yeah,
you know, looking at it from that side, you can absolutely tell that, you know, this stuff, like, things need to change.
it just doesn't work. It doesn't
It's
work.
going in a bad direction.
The interesting thing to me is, and obviously this is my family and this is my father-in-law I'm talking about. I've always supported him and I've always thought that he was the right person for the job. I think he did a great job in 2016 or 2017 till, you know,
Mhm.
Joe Biden came and focused himself in the White House, if we can say he's doing that.
Yeah.
But I think that what's happened in the past 3 years, and especially the way that it feels like an entire system is working against this one man, it's kind of shaken people awake. And maybe it's kind of risen my father-in-law in some respects to this like rebel kind of status with people, right? Like he
Mhm.
represents to, I think, an entire group of people who feel like the system hasn't been working for them, or they're victims of it as well in different ways. They look at him, they're like, well, they're doing this to Trump. Like, forget it. They've been doing this to my family for this amount of time. They've made Donald
Yeah.
Trump pretty cool these days, actually, with all they've tried to do to him, is my point. And I actually
Yeah.
think it's backfiring on the people who thought like it was going to get people to say like, can't vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, it absolutely has. I mean, if you think about it, he's the only ex-president to ever have any of this stuff happen to.
Yep.
Everybody else has seemed to be untouchable except for this one man. Why? Why are they going after him so hard? And if you read any of these lawsuits, there's nothing in them. If you
Oh,
actually read the stuff, it's all garbage.
don't even get me started. Sean, we'd be
Yeah.
here for 4 hours if I could tell you all the craziness about all of it and the way they really have manipulated the judicial system in many respects. They're having to make up like case law that doesn't even exist to pursue a lawsuit. It's like, it's crazy. And I guess they
is.
bank on people being ill-informed and just like kind of buying into whatever's going on, whatever the mainstream media is feeding you, right? I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's what Democrats have been doing for the last 50 years. They just feed on the ill-informed. Because
Yep.
most of the people I know that vote Democrat, they all tell me that they don't like politics. They try and not pay attention
Yeah,
as
you
much
gotta
as
pay
possible.
attention.
And I'm like,
You're like, oh,
really?
does it feel like things are going
Yeah.
great in this country? You
Yeah,
think things are
right?
going well? God, have you looked at any of the major metropolitan areas and the disaster
gosh.
because of illegal immigrants who are just
Yeah.
overwhelming these cities? It is wild what is going on right now.
Yeah.
What would be, do you ever talk to people like who are Democrats and you say like, well, what's so bad about Donald Trump? You ever get any answers?
No, I mean,
They don't have a good answer usually.
no.
They're
Well,
like,
I
I
mean,
just don't like him.
but that's the thing. It's like if they say, oh well, he's racist, we're like, okay, well, show me,
Give me an
like
example.
how? Yeah, give me an
Yeah.
example. What'd he say? And then any example they cite, it's usually the MS-13 comment or
Oh,
the good people on both sides. And I'm like, no. He was very specific. If you watch the whole video, you'll
thank
see
you,
that
Sean. Thank you,
he,
Sean. The
it's not.
audience of this show is probably aware that you're referencing the Charlottesville situation.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
one of my biggest issues that I have had over the course of his entire time running for president and his presidency was the misrepresentation of that exact quote you're talking about. He said, and I quote verbatim, you can check it out, folks. There were very fine people on both sides, but not the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists who should be condemned totally. They cut out the last part, though, as you're saying, to make people think he thinks that white supremacists and like KKK members are positive individuals. He doesn't. And he's been very clear about that, but they don't want people to know it. I just think people are waking up, and I think you can only fool people for so long. And whenever you look around and when we had peace agreements signed in the Middle East under Donald Trump versus literal war breaking out in the Middle East under Joe Biden, when gas prices are still high, inflation is still high, our southern border is literally being overrun, and it's been detrimental not just for the border states and cities, for the entire country. We can't sustain it. People start to say like, what's going on? I got to make a change here. My prediction, Donald Trump, 47th president of the United States. What do you think?
Oh, I think so. I think it's going to happen. We need to be vigilant on election night at polling places because they're crafty.
You don't have to tell me the 3 a.m. dumps. I don't know why you would need suitcases full of ballots. I've never seen that before as an official practice. But I digress. I'm sure there's some very rational reason for those sort of things. And I say that with a wink and a nod. You're right. We want people volunteering to watch every polling location. We want to ensure that the win is so big that it doesn't matter how much funny business may happen. There will still be a solid victory for Donald Trump in 2024. I asked you about your kids. You said that you obviously don't have any kids, but you did end up marrying a fellow drummer. That's an interesting combo. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's funny. We met at a show. Shocker.
Clearly.
We met at a show in San Diego, and we were introduced by a friend, and she asked me what kind of drum set, or I don't know, one of us asked what kind of drum set we had, and when she told me, we both had the exact same make and model drum set.
And it was done for you.
Yeah. We were like, oh my gosh. And also it was funny. I wear shorts most of the time, and I have a leg on my leg. I have a leg on my leg.
You do.
Have a tattoo on my left leg, and I got it there, deciding which leg to get it on. I got it there because I knew that photographers usually stand on my left side.
Me
So
too. Yeah.
yeah. So and that's it's funny because she has a tattoo on her leg as well,
Oh my
on her
gosh.
left leg, just because for that reason. So
You guys had it going.
so
You
yeah.
knew before you even knew. That's so cool. It's funny
Yeah.
because like in the way I always think about it, or maybe the way it's portrayed out there, and
Mhm.
clearly I know not to believe anything these days, is that when musicians get together, it can be like disastrous. It's just like a lot of energy and a lot together. Is that true or
Yeah.
no?
I mean, it can. It depends on the musician. So a lot of musicians
Okay.
are very eccentric and you know, kind of all over the place. I think that my wife and I are not. I think maybe I'm the more eccentric one. I'm not. I don't think I'm very eccentric.
I love that you
But
can
yeah.
admit that. My husband would never admit that, but I digress.
Yeah, I think because she's the one who handles all the bills and knows how much money is in our bank account and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but
Ladies are doing a
yes,
lot.
so but we kind of ground each other in different aspects of the relationship. So, I mean,
I love it.
yeah, it can be disastrous, but it can also be beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like any movie where you have like two musicians together, it's just like chaos and craziness. But
Right.
you can't always. I had a teacher. I spoke at the Republican National Convention in 2020, and I used this exact quote. It was from my seventh grade English teacher. She went by Mrs. B because I think her name was Mrs. Believer Nick, and that was like kind of hard for kids. So she went by Mrs. B. And it's funny because she told me, or she told the whole class, she would make us repeat it almost like daily. We were like, what is she talking about? She would say, believe none of what you hear, half of what you read, and only what you are there to witness firsthand. And
Mm,
I didn't really fully grasp, obviously, in seventh grade, like what that was all about, what that meant. Now, in retrospect, having been through all that I've been through as a Trump, with our family, with politics, all of it, Shawn, I mean, that makes a whole lot of sense. You really, and I think it's a good warning to people out there. It's so easy for people to, maybe you've experienced this, write something about you, put a story out there about you, and if you're at all considered a public figure, there's
mm,
almost very little you can do to rectify it. If they change things, no one cares. Once they write something about you, it's like stuck to you forever, whether or not it's true.
yeah.
um, you've got to be very careful out there. There's so much information out there that people just push out, especially I'm going to guess in an election year, to
Yeah.
sway people to certain viewpoints. But I that was a very profound thing that my seventh grade English teacher told
Yeah.
us, and I never
Teachers
really
used to be
got
so
it till
great.
later. What's that?
I said teachers used to be so great.
Teachers, right? Some still are. Some still are.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I feel like I've lucked out with my kids. My kids have had great teachers. We do live in the
Yeah.
the state of Florida, so amen to
Yeah.
that.
My
But
my
you
uh
know,
my wife used to teach kids at San Diego at like under she used to do the after school programs for kids whose parents didn't pick them
nice.
up after school.
Oh.
But yeah, she got out of the school system because she saw how kind of corrupted it was,
Well, and the
and
sad thing is,
that was uh, maybe 20 years ago.
oh, see, but
So
here's the sad thing. You talk about the educational system, but you
mm,
look at different factions of our society that we really rely on, like our law enforcement officers, for example,
mhm,
and our teachers, our educators out there, our military members. All of these factions of society and all of these groups are really being led in such a bad direction that the good people who want to be great teachers, who want to be great cops, who want to be, great military members, they're like, it's not worth it for me
oh
to
yeah,
even go down this path right now. That's very frightening, I think, for a lot of people too, because we rely on these folks to keep our society together. You can't have a society without law and order, without safety, of insular
hmm
safety here in America, but from, exterior forces to ensure that we're all safe. You got to be able to teach kids and educate the next generations coming up. It really kind of feels like all of these different groups of our society are just like, people are like, I give up. I can't do that. And that's a scary spot to be.
Yeah, it absolutely is, because these institutions are crucial in maintaining, I guess, maintaining the integrity of this country. And
Yeah.
when you have when it becomes rotten at its core, all the high somebody gets in who's a higher up, who is just is
Yeah.
interested in making it all about them. You get all the people who actually want to make a difference and who actually want to be good. They leave. There's a big purge.
Yeah.
You
And I
can't
get
have
it.
police officers in a city that won't protect you, or is trying to defund you. You
Yep.
know, you can't have good teachers in a school system that wants you to teach things that shouldn't be taught.
Yeah, and
You
aren't
know.
even allowing kids to meet basic requirements for things. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Oh
But
yeah, and then remember I saw in Portland they were taking away proficiency tests because
oh my God,
they're
right?
racist.
Oh,
The tests are racist.
it's
Ugh.
it's so insane. I like you if you put this kind of stuff in a movie, people will be like, that's not very realistic. Like that would
Yeah,
never
right.
happen. It's happening
Yeah,
in
right.
America right now. It's I don't know how anybody thought that was a positive thing, but you're right. They're doing away with proficiency testing at all in a lot of places because they're like, meh, we'll just call it racist and just call it a day and everybody will just shut up about it and move on. Well,
Yeah,
no,
right.
we need to ensure that these kids actually, when they graduate from school or they leave school, maybe they're not even graduating, they can take care of themselves and
Yeah,
they have some skills and ability to survive. Like this is the job of us as parents, but of us as a society to educate our kids. It's crazy what's going on. Um,
yeah.
before we let you go, I want to ask you, you've been in a band since 2005. You've
Hmm.
released 9 studio albums and 3 EPs. Is there anyone you haven't worked with that you would like to? Any area of music you haven't tapped into or place you haven't been that you want to go? Anything we can help you with? And I'm just going to throw out again that I'm available today. No, go ahead. No pressure.
Well, I mean, there's always artists that we'd love to work with. Where uh, we'd love to do a tour with Slipknot.
Oh,
We'd love
there you
to,
go.
we'd love to tour. We're down to tour with anybody. Um,
Love it.
but yeah, after we just put out a new music video um, called "Torn in Two," off our our last album that we released in October. So yeah, I mean, we're just down to work with anybody. Me
So cool. I
personally,
love it.
I would love to. I'm available for session work if anybody needs
Okay.
like a drummer.
Would you
Um,
be available for an inauguration, say, I don't know, around January of next year? Maybe January. I'm just
Absolutely.
throwing it out just to see. Who knows what it could
Absolutely.
happen? Okay. I love it. Well, you're awesome. Listen, Shawn, thank you
Awesome.
for joining us. Thank you for being brave and coming on and honestly being very open about your support for my father-in-law, but also your love for this country. And I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything that anyone should ever feel shame of over feeling like we want to stand up and save this country because God knows we got to do it. And this is the year. This is the year to stand up and do so. So, Shawn Cameron, thank you for being here on
Totally.
The Right View with us. To
Thank you,
everybody at
Laura.
home, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great sell plan and feel good about doing it.